Once upon a time, in the secluded village of Mizukai, nestled amidst rolling hills and straw fields, lived an elderly man named Haruki. His irradiant joy and collected demeanor made him stand out in the otherwise quiet and reserved people of the village. But no matter where he was or who he met, it was always obvious that anyone who came into his company would instantly be taken with mirth. And soon, he became the sage the villagers often associated with wisdom and insight. The people of the village were appalled at the sight of a man whose happiness and calm knew no bounds, and were eager to understand why he was so unwavering, even in the face of life's most ardent challenges. They asked him, "Haruki, what is the secret to your unyielding joy? How do you maintain such composure, even in the face of life's challenges?" Haruki responded solemnly, "My friends, I shall share with you not only the tale of my journey, but also the timeless teachings that have guided me on the path to everlasting happiness." And so, in the heart of Mizukai, the sage was born. Chapter 1. The Fateful Encounter. Haruki's unwavering commitment to tranquility began when he was a boy. Leisurely strolling through the outskirts of Mizukai one afternoon, he stumbled upon a secluded clearing. There, he found a Buddhist monk, recently returned from the monastery in the pine canopies of the nearby mountains. He was wrapped in saffron robes and engaged in deep meditation. The tranquility that enveloped the monk was palpable, and Haruki, captivated by this ethereal scene, decided to immerse himself in the moment. Haruki decided to wait for the monk to complete the bout of meditation before seeking his counsel. Hours passed, and as the sun dipped below the horizon, the monk, sensing Haruki's presence, opened his eyes. With a nod, the monk beckoned Haruki to join him on the nearby rock. Haruki settled onto the stone, cradling himself in a meditative posture, and as he took a deep breath, he closed his eyes. This encounter marked the genesis of a transformative journey that would not only define Haruki's understanding of happiness, but also unleash a flood of visceral experiences. Chapter 2. Immersed in the Present Moment. Guided by the monk, Haruki delved into the practice of mindfulness. The monk's teachings were not abstract concepts, but a thorough exploration of feeling the unity and bond in every nuance of existence. Haruki began to appreciate the tactile beauty woven into the fabric of everyday life. The earthiness of the soil beneath his fingers, the crispness of the air that filled his lungs, and the subtle symphony of nature that surrounded him. The singing robins, the squirrels scurrying through piles of dead leaves, and the gentle whistle of the wind. Chapter 3. Compassion as a Living Pulse. As Haruki extended his soul beyond his own corporeal vessel, he became finely tuned to his surroundings. For the first time, he existed, not within himself, but in the universe around him. The monk introduced him to the visceral wisdom of empathy, telling Haruki that it's not mindfulness that binds him to the universe, but his capacity for compassion. Happiness, the monk emphasized, was not an ethereal concept, but a living pulse that thrived on love and connectedness. Chapter 4. Liberation from Emotional Chains. The monk's teachings extended to the liberation from the shackles of suffering. Haruki, in the depths of his consciousness, in the tumult of his emotions, learned to navigate the intricate landscape of the heart. Acknowledging the impermanence of emotions, he experienced a release from the gripping hold of attachments, finding a serene sanctuary within himself. Chapter 5. Pilgrimage Through the Elements. In his later years, driven by an insatiable curiosity, Haruki undertook a pilgrimage to a distant monastery in the snow-capped mountain ranges. The peak was inhabitable, but the monks in the monastery never seemed to notice the cold, always carrying smiles on their faces and calmness in their actions. The journey through the rugged mountain terrains, knee-high snow, and the icy glaciers was not one of hardship for Haruki. With every breath, he carried the scent of pine into his lungs. Every gust of wind was a caress. and every snowflake on his skin was a reminder of his connection to the elements. Chapter 6. Revelation in the Mountain's Embrace. At the monastery, Haruki made his way to Master Kenzo. Master Kenzo was an 85-year-old monk who was the wisest and most attuned to the presence of the world around him. Taking Haruki under his tutelage, he revealed the secret to finding happiness in each situation, a sacred alchemy that could only be achieved through perspective, gratitude, and the power of choice. Haruki would spend every day in deep meditation, often climbing to the nearby caves for solitude. His senses expanded beyond anything that he thought he could experience. These hours of meditation would shape the latter chapters of his extraordinary tale. Chapter 7. Unearthing the Depths Within. Under Master Kenzo's guidance, Haruki delved into the depths of his mind. Confronting fears, insecurities, and attachments became a confrontation with his inner demons. As he faced these emotions head-on, Haruki realized that true emotional balance required not just detachment, but an understanding of the self. He had come to realize the depth to which his mind could be clouded by false perceptions and foster incorrect judgments. Chapter 8. The Homecoming. Armed with the wisdom of his journey, Haruki returned to Mizukai, his village. The reunion was a symphony of laughter, tears, and the tangible embrace of the village that had shaped him. Villagers gathered around him, eager to absorb the teachings he had gleaned from the monk, his journey, and Master Kenzo. Chapter 9. The Renaissance of Joyful Vibrations. Haruki's presence in Mizukai triggered a ripple effect. The village, once touched by his infectious happiness, reverberated with newfound jubilance. The community thrived as villagers took his advice on matters of the mind and heart, creating a wave of tranquility that pushed through Mizukai. The town itself became a site for pilgrims and scholars to observe the serene commitment that existed amongst its people. They seemed to have found the key to happiness. Chapter 10. The Legacy's Living Breath. As the years unfolded, Haruki became a man of repute in Mizukai, and travelers would venture to meet him from nearby towns and distant lands. His story was not just words, but a living tale woven into the tapestry of the village's history. The village's legacy of joy persisted, a palpable testament to the transformative journey of a humble elder. Chapter 11. The Sunset's Warm Embrace. In the twilight of his life, surrounded by the warmth of the people who loved him, Haruki gathered the villagers beneath the same Bodhi tree where he had first met the wise monk. With eyes filled with strong compassion, he shared his final words, expressing gratitude for the love he had discovered and the tangible happiness he managed to teach. Chapter 12. Haruki's Ascendance. As Haruki closed his eyes, a serene smile graced his face. The village felt a stillness down to the very core of their soul, realizing that Haruki had ascended to a state of eternal happiness, the ultimate liberation. His spirit lingered in the rustling leaves, in the laughter of children, and in the hearts of those who listened to what he had to say with a sympathetic ear. Chapter 13. Echoes of Haruki's Vibrant Wisdom. The travelers were not idle. Word of Haruki's life and teaching spread beyond the confines of Mizukai. Travelers, seekers, and scholars sought to understand the wisdom of the man who had discovered the secret to happiness in each situation. The village became a visceral pilgrimage site for those on a quest for joy, and Haruki's legacy rippled out into the wider world. Chapter 14. The Perennial Symphony of Mizukai. Generations passed, and Mizukai stood not only as a picturesque village, but also as a sanctuary of joy. Haruki's story became a timeless parable, resonating around the hearths of homes, in the rustle of the wind, and in the hearts of those seeking happiness. In the heart of Mizukai, the story of Haruki, the joyful sage, lived on. inspiring countless individuals to embark on their own transformative journeys toward happiness and fulfillment.